Hello, gentle viewers. This is Guardian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 25 with the Charlotte Silver Wolves. I love this logo so much. Truly glorious. A quick programming note. Not that this will matter too much to you all. I'll be out of town next week. And I won't have my laptop. Or I will have my laptop. No, I'm not gonna have my laptop. I keep forgetting I'm leaving my laptop at home. But if I did have my laptop, I can't run the game on it. I only mentioned to say that I will be recording next Friday's video um, tomorrow, meaning Saturday. Um, well, I will be recording on Saturday, which is not tomorrow because I don't know how time works. Ignore me. Okay, let's try this again. Because I'm out of town next week, I will be recording the next Friday video on Saturday, which means if you have any comments or you don't feature the video on Friday, I won't be able to see them in time for the next video. So if I do something incredibly stupid and you're like, oh my god, Abby is a fucking moron, A, you might be right, but B, I can't do anything about it. So sorry. Um, I also had planned to consider starting Victoria 3 in August. I still think that's the plan. Um, but I had a small hope of maybe doing like Root this coming Wednesday. That's not going to happen. Um, so the next Wednesday video will either be Root. I'll play a game of that for y'all, or it will be um, another game, possibly Victoria 3. Although for Vicky 3, I'm waiting for them to release a hotfix that tones down aggressiveness ever so slightly by the AI. But that might have to wait for 1.8. If I have to wait for 1.8, then we'll just play when 1.8 comes out. Either way, let's talk about baseball. We had not a terribly complex off season. A lot of the players that you see before you are players that were on the team last year, with a couple of exceptions. The first and most important thing that we're hoping for is a full season from Chris Thomasson. This is his chance to show that he is worthy of our fifth round pick in 2026. I think he absolutely can be, but we have to see that this year. I'm looking for a bat that's about league average or better and a sensational glove. That's what I'm hoping for. Paul Majani is our first baseman by default. I'm not terribly impressed by his raw talent, but he did provide some quality numbers last year, so. Jody Kramer is new. Is one of our new additions. Jody was acquired through free agency for a fairly small sum, and we'll see if he can provide a bit of extra offense down in the lineup. Jason Dominguez is somebody that we signed for a longer contract because we've been desperate for a center fielder who can combine decent offense and decent defense, and it seems like he fits the bill. So we'll see how he does this year, but it gives us some stability there. Giovanni Rodriguez, for his first time ever, is going to be starting every single game. Bo Naylor ended up getting benched last season, but Giovanni is going to have all day to be the catcher that we think he can be. And then Jazz Chisholm Jr. returns for his final year because I'm probably not going to back into his contract, but we'll see how he does. Rotation is basically last year's, with the exception of Jackson Ferris being healthy, although he's certainly lost a lot of his shine after an entire season of recovery. He's not back to where he was. So this already seems like a pretty stupid idea. What else is new? Chris Perry is more exciting. Chris Perry is a youngster, and he's going to get his chance to show that he can pitch every day. I think he could be a good one. We are a very left-handed rotation, so something to keep our eyes out for. The bullpen is probably where we'll see the most changes. If we take a look at pitching ratings really quickly here. Nate Quinn was a draft pick, a first round draft pick last season, and he shot through the minors with relative speed. Um, Actually, it might literally just be him. No, there's also Yeferi Smith, who we got in a trade last spring training. No, just 2 or 3 days ago. That's right. I traded him when I traded up Josh Hunter. After I signed Josh Hunter to a pretty stupid deal in retrospect. So, but don't worry, there's still plenty of other stupid deals if you want to make fun of me. Ernie Jarvis got paid. I think he's getting paid way too much potentially, but he's also literally the best pitcher that I've got. So I don't see how I could have not re-signed him. Plus, my owner wanted him back. The other move that I made was re-signing your mother. No, Joe Welch to a longer deal. I feel pretty good about this one, even though I think Joe Welch won't be the closer forever. I think he's still a very high quality pitcher, and I feel pretty good about him being on the team. And this is all enabled by, of course, Sergio Zapata. Like his decision to take a well below market level contract has already paid gigantic dividends. He's a two-time MVP for fuck's sake, and arguably should have been the MVP last year too. But he had to settle for. Oh no, he was MVP last year. Um, he could have won MVP his rookie year and finished in second place. That's 3 consecutive MVPs for his first 2 seasons in his career. I think he's a pretty good player. I'm gonna go out on a limb there and say I think he's pretty good at baseball. Henderson is what he is at this point. He's vastly overpaid, and yet I can't be rid of him. It is what it is. I want to talk a little bit about our bench, which I think we strengthened a little bit. Tim Reeves is somebody that we brought in through a trade early in the offseason. Um, I think he's got a load of potential, and I think we have the perfect team for him to show that. We also added Kramer, and Tito Winter is going to get himself another chance to show that he can produce at the major league level. Last season, not terribly exciting, but hopefully there's more to him than that. Tristan McGillicuddy is going to get another shot to back us up in the infield, which I think he can do an okay job of. His offense has to get better if he's going to be a longer term useful player. We also added Eliezer Alfonso to provide some veteran, what you call it, some veteran support in the bullpen or at catcher. Remember how I thought I was getting highway robbery for Arias? I still think he's been a good pitcher, but some of the bloom has come off the rose with him. Hmm. That being said, we're gonna go as far as the big guns take us, just like last year. Last year they took us pretty far. It's just gonna be a question of can we repeat that? I'm really disappointed in Jackson Ferris, and I hope that he can somehow regain some of his former skill because this is really disappointing to have seen a guy that I signed believing him to be an ace, and he just lost pretty much everything. So we'll see. We do have a handful of decent rookies that we could bring in if we needed to. I don't feel we have a ton of depth, but I think we have some decent major league quality depth. Um, there are certain positions we would be absolutely fucked at if we got a serious injury. I'm just not going to mention them because then they'll instantly get hurt. Because that's how it works. That is how it works. Hmm. Ethan Varner has had a very slow path to the major leagues. And I don't see that changing. Although I still hope he could start, maybe. He's definitely developing quite slowly. For whatever reason. Okay. Let us play baseball. I do, don't I? All you jerks. I forgot we brought Brandon Marsh back. Yeah, on a minor league deal. That's wild. We're off to a pretty slow start, but it's also so early in the season that I don't care. Nobody should get hot and bothered about how their team is doing in March, whether they're doing very, very well or very, very poorly. Um, some okay improvements here. Ernie Zerkis is throwing harder. Some okay improvements here. Dusty Hackett still hasn't broken out of A ball. I don't know why you keep pitching him, unless it's just for the lulls. Hey, he's a good defender, but he's never going to hit at the major league level, I don't believe. So we might want to consider trading him if we need to acquire somebody specific. We do get some pretty okay prospects to keep us chugging along there. We are not scoring to start this season. That's somewhat shocking. There you go. That's a nice little offensive surge. Maybe we're shaking off the spring training rust still. Maybe. I was saying maybe Sergio Zapata's not hitting. Nope, that's not true. Um, I mean, he's 35 years old. We knew he was going to keep getting hurt. It's just what 35-year-olds do. I say this as somebody who is over 40. Um, I feel like Mormon is the obvious person to call up. He's got a reasonably good. He is fairly error prone, but he's got a reasonably good glove and he's got a reasonably good bat. And I think calling him up is a reasonable choice. Even if it's not a terribly thrilling choice, I think it's a good one. Brandon March, I guess you could have called him up instead, but I'd rather let a youngster get some playing time potentially. Whether that just means Jody Kramer shifts over to right field and somebody else takes over DH, I couldn't tell you. But I didn't re-sign Jazz Chisholm expecting him to play most or even half of the year. I had a feeling he would get hurt because of how old he is. The AL East this year is tough. I mean, other than Tampa, who's been comically terrible, and Baltimore, who's a little behind the pace, yeah, it's pretty good. Arias is getting better, which is exciting news. Edgar Aguirre is improving. Alpha Day is improving. Ernesto Rosales is improving, although his ceiling still isn't terribly high. It's still nice to see him getting better. Josh Greenwood is getting better. A couple players starting to lose some of their potential, which is a little disappointing, but there's not much we can do about it. Luis Alvarado. Chris Perry is already Rookie of the Month. Nice. Three round trippers for Rosario. Navy Rosario is destroying baseballs at a pretty prodigious pace here. Does this fucker have 25 home runs already? That can't be true. No, he has 16 home runs already. What? That's hilarious. The man only has 25 hits on the season, and 16 of them are homers, and 2 of them are doubles. That's pretty incredible, and he will never replicate this in the major leagues. Not even a little bit. That's funny. I enjoy that. Um, we're scoring at an okay clip. There's a few players that I think are vastly out of position. That's hurting the team a little bit. Like Tim Reeves isn't terribly thrilling yet. Jody Kramer is meh. Chris Thomasson's playing at a pretty high level though. It's a pleasure to see him take off so quickly, but I don't expect him to keep that. Jimmy Harmon and our bullpen hasn't been fantastic, although it's been okay. I just think we just need more reps for everybody to truly see how this is all going to shake out. I think that's a reasonable take, and that's the take I will be taking. Two weeks for relief pitcher isn't something that particularly concerns me, but I will go ahead and call up Nelson Medina. You can have some innings here. I kind of want to get an outfielder. I kind of feel like we have two really good outfielders, and then we're just rotating in a vortex of suck in the third one. Although Jody Kramer is actually playing all right. Maybe I just need to let things sort themselves out for now, and then maybe make moves closer to the trade deadline. Like, it can't be that difficult to find a reasonably competent outfielder, right? Josh Whaley's gonna miss the rest of this. Not the rest of the season, but pretty close to it. Um, I want to say that Franco Parenticelli is the guy to call up. We could certainly give it a try, and see where that gets us. Plus, how can you not love a man drafted in the 15th round, um, who makes it to the major leagues? That's such a great story. Okay, we can have Jazz Chisholm back. Do we want him back? That's a good question. I wonder if we just move on from him now, and somebody else can try him out, and we can maybe try to get a little bit younger somewhere. Like, I'm not saying that Jody Kramer or Chris Foreman are ending the world or anything, but I feel like we need to start rotating through outfielders to see if we have another player that's capable of sticking around. And I think Jazz Chisholm's just going to keep getting hurt. So let's quickly trade him and see if we can get a prospect for him. I'm not even asking for a lot. I'll even pay his freight for the rest of the season. I don't even care. I just want to try to get a decent to mid-range prospect, and I will be satisfied. I mean, I can get some actual starting caliber players from Toronto, who I guess is fairly desperate. Um, Tabado was not terribly exciting. I see why Toronto's so eager to get rid of those guys. Not one of them really strikes me as being all that useful. Eh. Jeff McVicker is a deeply weird player, and I don't know what to think about him, so I'm just not going to think about him. Jake Ramos as a reasonably effective. I think if we got Tabawada and Ramos, I would make the trade. I think that's kind of what I'm looking for here. Just trying to get both of them. I think this is fine. I'll start trying to. Hell, you guys got plenty of money. What if I don't pay any of his salary? And then I'll simulate a day. I'll put you on a rehab assignment while we trade you. If you want Omari Eagle, the guy who will never amount to anything, you can have him. Done. I'm sorry the fans are a little bit bummed, or players are a little bit bummed out about that, but our chemistry is pretty solid. We have 3 fucking captains. I don't think we need like 12 of them. Um, and then replacing Jazz Chisholm on the Major League roster is nobody because we've already done that part. That's right. Ooh, Ethan Varner is finally making an impact. Varner's got an excellent chance to, especially if the bullpen keeps struggling the way that it has been. He's got an excellent chance of getting some playing time. I feel pretty strongly about that. I do want to try to get a young outfielder. I know that I just got one, but I'd like to get one that's a little bit more competent. I feel like Yuki Kimura is somebody that's gonna get me a decent return if I ask for it. Let me look at outfielders, please. Really? Nobody wants Yuki Kimura. I find that hard to believe. I am shocked. I don't know why people wouldn't want Yuki Kimura. That's really strange to me. Um, Kale Stewart. Kale Stewart isn't terribly thrilling, but I think he's still at least decent enough to keep around. I might just have to wait, let time progress a little bit, and then see what might be available closer to the trade deadline. Because I'll tell you this much: I don't trust a lot of these outfielders yet. So if I can get an opportunity to get an upgrade at the in the outfield, I will take it. But yeah, Toronto enjoyed Jazz Chisholm Jr. Hopefully he, you know, stays healthy for you. I mean, not too healthy because you are my bitter rival at the moment. But damn, we just put up 30 runs over 2 games. That's wild. Shit, more than that. In 3 consecutive wins against Texas, we put up, what is that, 44 runs in 3 games? 31 and 13. That's what it sounds like to me. Damn. Look at Reeves hitting 2 bombs. And Chris Moorman pinching in. Nice. Tim Reeves had himself a fucking day. I'll tell you what right there. Oh, Zapata must have had the day off. We still scored 14 runs. And then Zapata returns. What do we score? 17 runs. Um, including a grand salami. Nice. And Jody Kramer got a home run too. Very good. Actually, first base might be the real problem there. Maybe first base is where we need to try to make some changes. Because Paul Majani is struggling pretty badly. Maybe that's something we can fix. What about the last day? Another homer for Zapata and a grand slam for... Like, this is just cruel. Just tacking on 5 extra runs in a game that we're already up by a lot of runs. That's funny. Oh, looks like Zapata is day to day. Do I shut him down? I can't afford to lose him for a long period of time, but I also think that would cause significant disruption to the game. You know what? Let's bench him. Can I not bench him? Oh no, only the manager can decide that. Ah, that's fine. I trust my manager. If he thinks he can handle it, then handle it he shall. Do I? Oh yeah, the new guys. I think you both have to be on the 40-man. Then you're both going immediately to triple that, because I don't have a need for you at the moment. Can get Colton Hartman back, which is pretty great. So Parentuccelli is going to be sent down. Bring up Hartman. No, Medina is going to be the one sent down. No, Medina. Yeah, Medina's going to be the one that's sent down. And I think Petruccelli can. No, it's not even Parentuccelli. It's going to be Ethan Varner. Let's get this guy up in the major leagues. See what he can accomplish. He might even crack the rotation at some point, which is why I kind of want him to start getting major league playing time to see what it is he can actually accomplish if given the opportunity. Nice. Yeah, Ethan Varner is actually a genuinely great starting pitching prospect now. Nate Quinn looks amazing. Chris Perry looks great. Paul Majani is getting worse. Thomasson's getting better. The rest of my cavalcade of baseballers are all fair to Midland. Nothing too wild. How are we looking? I think Paul Majani is the weakest link. I truly believe that. I have him for a whole other year after this. What do we have on the trading block this year as hitters? Adding Nolan Jones wouldn't be a terrible idea as long as somebody can help meet us in the middle as far as pricing. Miguel Vargas would be a pretty nice addition. Spencer Jones would actually be lovely. I would love to get Spencer Jones on my team. I wonder if that's possible. He's also fairly cheap, which I appreciate. If I started with Paul Majani... Really? You're asking for genuinely good players. What if I started tossing in a prospect or two? What if we did that? What if we did that? What if I offered you some of my huge pile of infield second baseman? Yeah, we're not really making significant progress by offering you these veterans. Prospects. I think I need to give you a genuinely decent prospect or two. You said you wanted Mike Darnell. It is so hard for him to give up on a lefty that throws that hard, though. Julio Sandoval. I would give you Julio Sandoval. That doesn't move the fucking needle either. You're wanting a genuinely good prospect, or admittedly a genuinely good player. Like, I'm not disputing the quality of the player. I'm disputing how much I'm giving up for, you know, relatively. No, I guess he's a really good player. How about Jeremy Calendar? No. A genuinely good two-way player is just crucially valuable to me. Really, Julio Sandoval didn't impress you. I don't give up Sergio Carrillo either. Like, you're asking for genuinely good players, and I don't know how I feel about that. This is a substantial upgrade. I don't think I can underestimate how substantial an upgrade this is. And not just for this year, but for the following year as well, because he's around for 2 years. What else is available? I feel like if I'm giving up a prospect of the caliber of some of these guys that are being asked for, I have to get somebody that's really, really good. Like, really top tier. My problem with Miguel Vargas is trading for a rental. Everything else about him I like a lot, and I think he'd fit really well in this club. But I feel like paying that much money to a rental is not a good use of my limited resources. I think it's got to be Spencer Jones. I think Spencer Jones is the only player here that moves the needle and isn't just a rental. It's like we trade for him. I'm going to give you Parmigiani just because I don't want his contract on me anymore. Uh, this is gonna hurt if I trade either one of those two. But I can't trade an established player either because I'm still very much in contention. Alfredo Rosado could be an incredible hitter if he develops the way that we think he can. Game, why are you like this? Why do you do this to me? For what reason do you torment me? I can't give up on Dominguez. He's too important to me already. He's actually having a really good season, so I will not be giving him up. Rio's also durable. I think we have to give up Darnell. This hurts because I think Darnell can actually be a really, really good pitcher. But I need an upgrade at first base or the outfield or something. So I think we do it. One moment, please. Sorry about that. Um, I am giving up a pretty talented prospect. I wonder if I can get them to throw something else in. Luis Estrada would be amazing. I feel pretty likely they're just gonna tell me no, but yeah. Estrada's really special. I don't know why he's not in the major leagues for you already. Um Alexis Ibarra is pretty good. I wonder if he'd be willing to. Nope. 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 Hmm. I really don't want to do it. I really don't want to do it. I think Mike Darnell could be an incredible player. The only reason I'm even considering this is because of the injury proneness. I'm gonna pull the trigger. Oh, this one hurts. This one potentially hurts. And not a little bit either. If Mike Darnell turns out to be a multiple time Cy Young winner, remind me of this moment. I still think it had to be done. I think Spencer Jones is exactly what we're looking for in a baseball player. Except he's also slightly injury prone. But he's at least got top tier power, which we could always use more of. Plus maybe you'll put Thomasson in the right spot in the lineup. It's possible. Upgrading the pitching, I don't know what we do about that. I'd love to go to Jackson Ferris at this point. I think he's washed, but nobody, and I mean nobody's going to give me anything for him. He's just too much money, and I'm not going to be able to eat any of it. I can try it. Like at this point, I would rather give somebody else a spot. Absolutely any offer, nobody. Yeah, nobody wants him. Um, he's not a 10-5 because he hasn't been on my team for 5 years, but yeah, nobody's gonna want a player that's that expensive, and I don't blame them. I wish I didn't have him either. It's fine. Our offense is so good that we don't necessarily need truly dominant starters, but I'm gonna want really high quality pitching ready to go when the postseason starts. Um, Again, provided to make the postseason, which seems like a reasonably good bet, but definitely not a guarantee. I don't want to get in that kind of mindset where like we're entitled to it because then I'll make stupid mistakes. Like, well, Jackson Ferris was a really smart mistake. That ended up being a bad one because he never recovered. Um, we need to think about keeping some people around. Let's offer all the minor leaguers new contracts. I think that's very reasonable. Ben Johnson desperately wants a new contract. I know he does. Who wouldn't? He's amazing. And then Alejandro Nunez is also wanting a new contract. That's fair. My hitting has been absolutely on point since the split second I hired Mr. Gowans here. I see no reason not to keep him around. As for our bench coach, he has a good relationship with the players, and I think he gets the most out of them. So I think keeping him around is reasonable too. There you go. Hmm. I hope I really don't regret trading Mike Darnell. I hope that doesn't happen, but I might. Like we needed an upgrade at first base. We desperately needed an upgrade at first base. And we also got out from under Palmajani's. Really, Nate Quinn is so good. I don't want him to be hurt. Um, Parenticelli. I think it's the spot for now. Um, that is unfortunate. I like him a lot. I don't even know what I was talking about. So, Joe Stevenson has kept his 400 average for a shockingly long period of time. Hitting over 400 up to July is pretty crazy. Um, I can't imagine he'll keep getting better, but what the fuck do I know? A few people of reasonable quality, not too much wild. Zapata starter of the month because of course he is. He might hit 50 home runs this year, which would be pretty wild. Pretty wild. Man. Okay. I'm assuming Zapata, Thomasson. Yeah, Thomasson made it. Zapata easily made it. Injured, excuse you. He's got a sprained knee. That's fine. So that's two Charlotte players. Giovanni Rodriguez made it, which is pretty exciting. Yoferi Smith, of all my pitchers, the only one to make it, which is also interesting. I'm surprised that Jacques Leto isn't getting any consideration. He's certainly better than Noel V. Marte. But Noel V. Marte might be Houston's only player. So I think Jacques Leto is just a victim of circumstance because he's actually having a really good year. Not that I'm surprised in the least, but he's actually having a very good year. Um, I'm reasonably pleased. I am pleasantly chuffed. What do I want in the draft? I just want the best players available at this point. I feel like drafting for position is kind of silly. Man, if Joe Stevenson doesn't cool off at some point, I think he's guaranteed to get the MVP. If nothing else, out of voter fatigue. You did all right, Spencer. All right, let's go. All right, let us look at all players default. I just like doing it this way because it gives me a sense of who the really good players are. KC Choate, huh? Incredible stuff. Great upside. Highly adaptable. A competent hitter, too. Do I just not overthink this and just take Choate? Like, as much as I would love to have another offensive prospect, as much as this draft appears to be somewhat thin on offensive prospects, he's got incredible amounts of raw talent. And I just don't see an upside to taking anybody else, no matter how desperately I might want another position. You gotta take the best player, and he was the best player by far. Okay. I gotta be honest with you, Jonathan Elmore is looking awfully sexy. What does he bring to the table? He's a highly skilled athlete, works hard, good mix of offensive skills, and pretty good speed. And he's playing at a decent school, too. I think Elmore is the choice. I think selecting Mr. Elmore here is the right idea. So let's make it happen. And I will offer you the slot. Let me look at batters. Let's look at all the batters. I'm going to sort by contact potential and try to find some diamonds in the rough here. Wayne Eulis is a pretty darn good hitter. Good contact, decent power numbers across the board, doesn't strike out a lot. He's just good at hitting. However, he is also pretty stupid. And I don't want a dummy on my team. Jim McElwing is at least loyal, if not very adaptable. Oh, hi there, Joe Sorrell. Yes, Joe Sorrell, you're in. You are my choice. I will meet your demand. Tommy Barrios is kind of stupid. Kind of real stupid. Mike Hammond is even dumber. Mike Hammond can't put his pants on successfully the first time. He's got to try like 7 or 8 times. I will offer Tim Johnson the slot. Let's now quickly skip back to the best players at any position and see if there might be... Kurt Kirby keeps slipping. Is it just his salary demands? He's smart and hardworking. He's got some pretty tremendous pitches. Yeah, his only downside is he throws kind of soft, but I don't care. Kurt Kirby, get your ass over here. I got money. I will happily meet your demand. Because I think you're more than worth it. I think Randy Hawkins is a highly competent infielder and the kind of thing we can always use more of on our team. Jared LeClaire isn't that impressive. He's just fine. He's not great at anything. He's not bad at anything. He's just acceptable. Steve Hemry is smart, but not very good. Bob Stroud is okay. We can grab ourselves a Bob Stroud. At this point, even though Tommy Barrios is big dumb, I think picking him up is reasonable because it costs me no money. Mike Anchor. He's certainly no anchor. Good stuff. Good at keeping the ball down. A change-up cutter combination. Coming from a side armor, I'm more than willing to give this a shot. That's a pretty solid player. I like Luis Gallegos here a lot, and I think he represents a pretty good addition to the club. I wish he was a little bit better as a catcher, but he could always work on that. And I think his bat at a premium position is more than worth what he is requesting. Yet another Luis Castillo, this one a hard throwing lefty who's not very loyal. Carter Janine throws hard, slider sinker. His control's not ideal, but I think he's still a decent choice. We can use him in our roster. I mean, if you're going to nem, you have to nem hard, right? We will take Jelani here. I have 8 basemen in my entire franchise, and I know that's a misnomer because we've actually got more first basemen that just aren't listed as first baseman. I will take Jim White. And Randy Abulafia is just a rubber armed organizational soldier type, and I'm still gonna take him because that's still useful. Even if he doesn't actually play for me in the major leagues, he still helps the rest of the team be better. Is Art Ellis even a competent hitter? He is not remotely a competent hitter. Are there big thompers left in the draft? Ronnie Heil? Sure. You know, his name is a little bit yikes. There is an amount of yikitude there that is perhaps excessive. Although Anasieto Erpir isn't rated better, he's actually a really, really talented pitcher. Let's get him. Let's get after it. Let us add him to our team. Chase Jello. Look at that splitter. That's wild. That is a damn fine splitter. I'm surprised he's not even better keeping the ball down, but I'm more than happy to get that splitter in my system. I will take Corey McNevin from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Are there any other contact guys left? There is Juan Sosa who has no other offensive skill other than hitting for contact. So his only offensive skill is not striking out. And he's a terrible catcher, but other than that, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln? Kale Collins is extremely mid, but that's okay. Sean Krause, sure. And Mr. Irrelevant is possibly Eric Sell? Sure. Done. And I think everybody's already been offered a contract. Why say international amateurs? Well, that's funny. There's still one left. You know what, Jorge Gracia? I will offer you a contract for $190,000. We'll either take it or you won't, and I don't really care what your decision is. That is very mean of you, game. Very mean indeed. Um, it's either Jake Ramos or Alpha Lede, and I think it's going to be Jake Ramos gets called up. That is unkind. Jesus Christ. Everyone's getting hurt this year. Not literally everybody, just seems like everybody. Um, where's that one guy that I traded for? Oh, he's hurt. Tabawada is injured. Uh, uh, Josh Neal is less objectionable than some others, and that's about all I can offer you. Do you have any outfielders that are already on the list that are not in the major leagues? Tawabata, who is actually hurt. Try Slade Caldwell again. Maybe this time he'll be competent, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Mm. What if I traded Cale Stewart for an outfielder? What would that look like? Because Cale Stewart ain't got nothing. Cale Stewart is a mediocre infielder with a fairly limited future. Yeah, maybe. Zach Levinson isn't terrible. I could get Judd Fabian back. Maybe this time he'll stay healthy, but I wouldn't count on it. Braden Montgomery hits home runs and nothing else. I like the idea of getting Jordan back, actually. I think he's a pretty talented reserve and would be a fine addition to our club. I would have meant somebody younger, though. Somebody who's actually got a chance to stick around for a little bit. Mm. Reggie Bucknor is not terrible, but he's not good either. I need somebody who can actually be a contributor right now, not just sticking around for. Hey, it's George Valera. I remember when we had you. Will Brennan. It's like old homes. It's like old home week. All of our former friends who want to come back to Charlotte, and who can blame them? I certainly can't. And Colt Long is the first guy here that's both young enough and interesting enough to be worthy of a choice. Like, I don't think Colt Long plays a center for my team, but he's a good enough outfielder that I think that's reasonable. I'm gonna keep looking. Jordan Beck offers us the best player right now, but I think Colt Long is the guy we go with. I think this is reasonable. Plus, the fact he can handle center field without embarrassing himself makes him pretty useful. I don't know that he's like a major league ultra star, but I think he's good enough to get the job done, and I will accept that fact. Hopefully, Chris Perry heals quickly because I have a feeling we're going to need him pretty desperately in the postseason. I probably need a starter, don't I? Feels like maybe I do. I mean, getting Nate Quinn back is massive. It's truly great. Poor Parentuccelli. He's like, I get to pitch. No, I don't. Sorry, as good as Nate Quinn is, nobody is getting innings over him except for possibly Joe Welch. Well, maybe don't set him on fire and he'll play even better. I mean, that's just science. Oh, poor Joe Stevenson, under 400. What a useless player now. Offer me Keaton Wynn. No, thank you. He just doesn't offer any appeal to me. Already gone. SMH my head. I wouldn't have taken him anyway, but which one of these guys did I? It wasn't you. It was Josh Beatty. Why were you on my list? Oh, he must have been one of the guys I was considering in 2024. Or 2026, rather. Kate Cavalli is not bad. Josh Cresslow is meh. I just don't feel that this deal moves the needle at all. Like, my starters are the best in the league. I feel like fucking that up is just not a good idea. It's not a smart decision. So I will decline your offer. But thank you kindly for thinking of me. What do we need? I wouldn't mind one more horse in the rotation, like a really, really talented pitcher. But I don't know what I would give up for that. I don't think there's anything to give up for that. I think Spencer Jones isn't a perk for Jason, but he's actually playing pretty well for us. Another starting caliber outfielder would be pretty useful. But honestly, I'd more be willing. I will look at the trade deadline. I'm not gonna just. Yes, no, thank you. Is there anybody of interest on the trading block that could improve our team significantly? Roman Anthony is pretty incredible, but I'm not going to spend that much money on what is essentially a luxury item. Yeah, no thanks. Riley Green is like a dead man walking. LA's got a lot of old outfielders. I wonder how that's working out for them. Probably not well. I mean, other than McGonagall, like nobody here is that interesting. Even McGonagall's not that fantastic. Do you have anybody whose contract is coming up that we have no intention of keeping? Jody Kramer's not terribly exciting, but we also can't trade him. Short of being able to trade Jackson Ferris, I don't see. Does anybody want him at all? You not only want him, but you're willing to give me a player that actually has some upside, and I get rid of his salary. I think it has to happen. I think we do it. That's all about trimming payroll. I have a lot more financial flexibility now. Do I add a veteran starter? Or do we just trust the rookies to see if one of them can handle it? Who is available on the trade deadline market? I don't need a reliever, but thank you. Griffin Canning, low key, would actually be a decent addition to the rotation. Low key would consider, as long as there's not a better starter on the market. Like, I know he's older, I get that, but that might be what we need. We might need an older, highly accomplished starting pitcher to just shore up the rotation for us. And you're not asking for very much in return. You're asking for like one mid-tier prospect. And a guy like Josh Neal is somebody that I can probably part with. You know what? Let's do it. This gets me a veteran pitcher with a ton of raw talent. Can I just send you to the minors so I have to put you on the 40 man? You must be on the 40 man, okay. Now you can send you to AAA, I bet. I think that's all I want this deadline. I don't think there's anything else that's worth pursuing. Okay. You don't need an even older pitcher, so I regret to inform you that I must decline. That wasn't the most thrilling of trade bills, the most thrilling of trade deadlines, but I think we saved a lot of salary, and we got better as a result. Tyler Spangler has a decent chance to make a bigger impact than I anticipated. And I think Griffin Canning is a perfectly viable replacement for Jackson Ferris. So I think we made the right decision. Um, like we're gonna get as far as our bats carry us. That's I just want good, reliable arms in the rotation who don't like disintegrate. But it's gonna be up to the bats to carry us over the hump. Giovanni Rodriguez is getting better at catching. I might have to do something about that as well. Vicente Trijos, Bobby Barton. I almost called him Bonnie Barton. There's nothing wrong with that, I suppose. If Dusty Hackett could hit his way out of a paper bag, I think he'd actually have a reasonable chance at a decent career. The problem is I don't think he can hit his way out of a paper bag. I think he's always going to be at best a utility guy unless something truly sensational happens at him as he gets older. I just don't see it happening. I do not see it happening. Dude's over 400 again. Like, what the fuck, man? How is this guy so good? Are people just like grooving him fastballs down the middle every time he shows up? You can stop injuring my superstar reliever at any time. Any time you fucking please. Josh Batty. Ralph. I think it's Nelson Medina for right now. Or it could be Petricelli again, I guess. You know what? Sure. Yeah, you're out for the rest of the season. That is unfortunate, because I think he was our secret weapon. he made our bullpen from good to absolutely dominant. And it's a shame to ruin his rookie year when he's been so good. Josh Whaley is most definitely coming back. Let me go ahead and have him rehab, and then when rosters expand, I will activate him. Let him get right. Same for you. I like how this guy's just casually hitting over 400. That's completely nuts. And he hasn't, like, he dropped off a tiny bit, but he's just been that damn good all season long. I don't even know that I'm going to end up with the MVP this year. I think it's likely because Baltimore is such a bad team, relatively speaking. But yeah, I don't think that's likely to happen. He's such a good pitcher. Like Chris Perry, Nate Quinn getting better as they're injured just makes me sad. It's just a reminder of what could be, but may never be. Um, let's call up Lede, Medina, and Spangler. Give them each some meaningful at bats, potentially. Schoolcraft, what an amazing name. That is such a cool name. What a guy. What an absolute unit. Is Chris Dory another one of the 2026 crew? No. Oh, because it was against my team. No. Why am I getting a notification about him? Tell me your secrets, game. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to put Ramos on the IL. I'm just going to let him recover on the Major League roster. Luis Ayala is going to retire. Okay. You know, I kind of feel bad for Zapata, and that every year he's like, "I'm gonna finally get the MV. I'm gonna get the Triple Crown this year," and then somebody just destroys one of his three stats, and this year it's average. Um, wow! Just now to Stevenson slip under 400. That is utterly stunning, in every sense of the word. We won 100 games. Nice. What does a playoff roster look like right now? I'd rather take Parantucelli off and add in Whaley for the simple fact that Whaley has been there before. Um, Tim Reeves is okay, but I see why we're benching him. Yeah, I'm good with this roster. I think this is significantly good. Okay. I feel pretty confident that we end up getting our first round bye, which is all to the good. Well, we're off to a rip-roaring start. Amazing. Jack Flaherty, Brandon Marsh, Kevin Castillo, and Eric Edwards are all retiring. Good for them. A very tight victory over alumni Abner Uribe. What did I trade you for? I remember getting something fairly decent out of you. Well, I got Bubba Chandler and Danny DeAndrade, and I remember that Bubba Chandler was actually pretty helpful for a handful of seasons, so that one feels reasonably good. Boom, swept. Jimmy Harmon, low key, became one of the best players in the majors this year, and it came completely out of nowhere. Utterly, utterly out of nowhere. And lest we forget, that's a another ALCS for us. So I kind of enjoy that a good bit. It's Joel Stevenson's team. Mr. I can casually win a batting title whenever I want to. Oh, does Kansas City knock them out of the playoffs? I hope they do. I hope they fucking do. But they probably won't. Ethan Varner got a Rookie of the Month trophy. Nice. Yeah, it's the Angels. Joe Stevenson. Where the fuck did this come from? Damn. Whew. That is one hell of a season. And it's not going to get him the MVP. I don't think. He's got Rookie of the Year locked up, but he's not going to win MVP unless something really shocking happens. Nice. Amari Eob, also somebody that came out of nowhere to actually end up being a pretty high quality starting pitcher. Um, oof, Jimmy Harmon got roughed up. That's all right. That's less all right. I mean, they beat Joe Welch. If you're gonna beat the best closer in the major leagues, then I tip my cap to you. But Ernie Jarvis isn't gonna let us down. He is very rapidly proving to be a huge big game pitcher when we need him to be. Can you lock it down, Amari? Can we go to second World Series in a row? Yes, we can. It's the Charlotte Orioles and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Unexpected. Hey, this universe, the Pirates ended up with Paul Skeens as well. Nice. Oh, they've actually always had him. Cool. Wow, they lit up Ernie Jarvis. That's worrying. We got one back thanks to Giovanni Rodriguez, who's rapidly going to demand like $30 million a year. Oof, a nail biter, but a victory for the Pirates. Uh, Bullpen got it done. Other than game one, this has been a super duper close. Oh, Jacques Little got a cycle. Nice. Ooh. Huh. Let me sign him, please. I will happily sign him if he is available. Posted players. Here you go. Interesting. It says that there's nobody available. Hmm. Well, you should do it right when they're initially posted. Otherwise, you just miss out. That's very possible. Ernie Jarvis. Well, actually, I was thinking Jarvis was actually the bullpen that got it done. We did it! Two in a row. Two World Series in a row. What a season. 100 wins. World Series victory. Chris Perry off the IL. My word, what a season. Whoa. What a season. We will break it down momentarily here. Once I've completed all of my owner goals in one time. Nice. Who got the gold? Who did you consider the gold glove winner? Oh, two of my staff members retired. My first base coach and my scouting director. We'll have to deal with that next episode for sure. Oh, Griffin Canning. What a gold glove. Okay. Ecstatic is fucking right. I am the greatest. Let's break down the season. What was hi Sergio? Zapata is getting ridiculous. I don't. I've run out of superlatives to describe how incredible he is as a baseball player. He does literally everything well. Literally everything. And he's on such a team friendly deal. Oh my gosh. Almost had 200 home runs. And he's not even 25 yet. I guess he's just a hair over 25. Andy Giacoletto bounces back in a big way. I kind of wish we'd stop trying to lead him off because I think he'd be better off a little bit lower in the lineup where he could use his home run power. But I'm over the moon with him. He's an exceptional defender and a very good hitter on top of it. Love to see it. I said Chris Thomasson had to make good this year, and oh my lord, did he deliver. 37 home runs is a lot of home runs. To also, by the way, play pretty damn good second base as well. Thomasson's going to be expensive to keep, and we're going to do our best to try to make sure that we can keep him. Gunnar Henderson had one of his best years as a Charlotte Silverwolf, and he's still disappointing. Because he shouldn't be a good player. He should be one of the best in the major leagues. And the fact that he's merely decent each year is disappointing. Jason Dominguez, that deal looks real good. He looks really, really good. A full year of quality play and competent defense always sits well with me. Giovanni Rodriguez is becoming a star. Catcher. Spencer Jones definitely turned out to be a pretty fair addition to the club. And Colt Long, I don't even remember who you are, but you also had a good season too, apparently. Everybody contributed. Jody Kramer was perhaps the most worrying, but even so, we got some decent performances up and down the lineup, but especially by the guys at the top. And Chris Thomasson is a star now. I wonder how much it's going to cost me just for fun. That is reasonable. But not yet. I need him to do it again. So I think he'll just get a 1-year contract this year, and then we'll see if he can do it again. How did the pitching go? Do we get top tier pitching? We got Ernie Jarvis doing Ernie Jarvis things, and I find it so fascinating because he's not the kind of guy that strikes a lot of people out. He's just really damn good at pitching. Like, really good at pitching. Very happy about him. Jimmy Harmon, just a hair's breadth behind him. Amari Eob, excellent. Joe Welch, otherworldly. Chris Perry's only crime was not pitching very many innings this year, but he had a fantastic season. Ramos was good. Canning was good down the stretch. Whaley was meh, and Tully was very meh. But Ernie Jarvis just keeps repaying our investment in him. Um, yeah, he's a good pitcher, and not, as one might assume, a belly itcher. I feel like we have to give a big tip of the cap to Nate Quinn, who also had a phenomenal season and really bridged the gap up to Fuckhead McGee, Welch, with aplomb and dignity. What a season! I guess if I had a criticism about the team, I still think we don't have a DH. But if that is the only criticism I can muster, that was a pretty good season. I also think Chris Thomasson is just one of these guys who would run on the knife's edge. And while he had an amazing season, I think overpaying him would be a disastrous mistake. He has to do it for 2 seasons before I can consider investing that heavily in him. Same for Giovanni Rodriguez. Same deal. If they're not going to take below market deals, I cannot be the one to invest that heavily. So we will talk about that next episode. But this is a very, very good season. And the best part of it is the only player I'd say played out of his league is Thomasson. Even then, that may actually be his league, and we just don't know it yet. Everybody else had a season what they're capable of or better, and some were worse. Hi, Gunnar Henderson. I feel like I'm giving him too much shit, but also I'm not. For the amount of money he is being paid, he should be what he was with Baltimore. And for whatever reason, he just hasn't produced that. His power seems to be gone, or at least reduced relative to what it was in Baltimore. I mean, check this shit out. 4 years in a row of 500 slugging percentages. The highest he's ever had with me, 460. Mm. You're so amazing, Zapata. You're so good. He's gonna get to 1,000 hits in 2 seasons, minimum. Maybe a bit faster than that, but I wouldn't count on it. That triple crown, one day, but not this year. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you have, remember to like and subscribe. Comment down below. If you have any comments about today's episode, please note that I probably will not see them in time to record next Friday's video, so just be on the lookout for that. And until next time, this has been Guardian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you